incident in Majia Town, Tara local government area of the state. The minister expressed regret over the circumstances surrounding the unfortunate incident. In a statement signed by his special advisor on media and publications, Naimeka Okafor, local Bure extended his heartfelt condolences to the families and loved ones of those affected by the devastating incident. The minister also urged Nigerians to avoid approaching vehicles transporting petroleum products that have been involved in accidents or mechanical failures. He called on petroleum transporters to ensure that only certified drivers who comply with safety standards as stipulated by the Federal Road Safety Corps are employed to transport petroleum products. The Senate of Nigeria has expressed shock over the death of 100 people who were burned to death by scooping fuel from a fallen truck near Dutse, the Jigawa state capital. The Senate equally called on the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and National Emergency Management Agency to provide relief materials to surviving victims of the explosion. It also urged the National Orientation Agency to carry out adequate sensitization on dangers of scooping fuel from fallen trucks. The Upper Legislative Chamber reached these resolutions on Wednesday after a debate on the motion sponsored by Senator representing Jigawa North, Babagana Hussein. In a remark, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, warned Nigerians on the dangers of scooping fuel when such accidents occur.
Observe. Observe that this is one incident too many, and it is often accompanied with unprecedented casualties, often difficult for medical facilities within the precincts of the disaster. This development is rather unfortunate as it keeps happening over and over again in spite of fatalities that is often associated with the inferno. Also observe that public enlightenment and sensitization on the dangers of indulging in the dangerous act of scooping fuel from tankers whenever there is a tanker accident should be encouraged as part of measures to forestall reoccurrence of these unfortunate incidents.
This has happened in Lagos, it has happened in Ikeja, it has happened in my community in Akwa Ibom State before, and a lot of the bonds were first-class bonds. So here, over 100 people have been burned to death. Our prayer would just be that.
Observe.
Correspondent Rotimi Adeyemi reports that the Senate's response underscores the urgent need for national action to prevent similar tragedies and save lives. Troops of the Operation Hadarin Daji of the Nigerian Army have neutralized 5 bandits during a gunfire at Maraban Kriawe, located in Safe local government area of Zamfara State. Disclosing this, a counter-terrorism expert, Zagozola Makama, said the incident occurred in the early hours of Wednesday during a military operation. Makama said several other bandits were also injured. This is coming less than 48 hours after the notorious bandit leader, Kachala Ibrahim Gugron Daji, was neutralized and the military was alerted. Daji was eliminated in Kwana Nasiru community, a village located at the east of Mada town in Gusau, local government area of the state. Sokoto State Governor Ahmad Aliyu on Wednesday launched the sale of subsidized food items, including a 50-kilogram bag of rice priced at 38,700 naira. Speaking on the launch held at the Kwari local government premises in Kwari town, Aliyu stated that the initiative aims to ease the burden of people, particularly those at the grassroots level. The governor stressed that the sale should be open to all, without any conditions such as political affiliation or social status. In Borno State, police command has rearrested a convict, Awalu Aminu, also known as Awalu Kikir, who escaped from the correctional facility following the severe flood that hit Maiduguri and its environs in September. The police public relations officer at the command, ASP Nahum Daso, disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday. He said the convict, aged 24, had been serving a jail term for criminal conspiracy and theft at the Medium Security Custodial Center in Maiduguri when the facility's fence collapsed due to the flooding, allowing Aminu to flee. DASO further revealed that the convict was apprehended on October 16, 2024 by police officers from the Bama Area Command, Banki Divisional Headquarters, following a tip-off that Aminu was spotted in Banki town. ATN had earlier reported that over 281 inmates escaped from the Maiduguri Medium Security Custodial Center during the severe flooding that submerged parts of the city. Aminu's rearrest brings the number of escaped convicts apprehended so far to 3, following the earlier arrests of Abubakar Mohammed and Kiari Kul, who also fled during the September 10 floods. You are watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after the short break. Stay with us.
Observe that this is one incident too many.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Vice President Kashim Shettima departs Abuja on Wednesday for Sweden on a 2-day visit to represent Nigeria in bilateral engagement with the Scandinavian nation. The visit is at the instance of President Bola Tinubu, Senior Special Assistant to the Vice President on Media and Communication, Mr. Stanley Mokocha. He revealed in a statement he signed on Wednesday titled, VP Shettima embarks on 2-day visit to Sweden. He said the meeting involves bilateral talk with the Crown, Princess Victoria of Sweden, and Swedish Prime Minister. Mokocha said the Vice President will also meet with Nokshen, amongst other persons, to launch the Nokshen 22, a 205 tech investment fund for Africa. The Nokshen 22 is a program to improve Africa's giant firm. It is partnering with other entrepreneurs to build Africa's next tech giants. While in Sweden, Shettima is also expected to articulate Nigeria's economic vision with the reforms being undertaken by the administration to create a business-friendly environment in Nigeria for investors and to showcase the opportunities that abound in Africa's largest economy. The Vice President is expected to be back in the country on Saturday. A different story, Senate President Godswill Obot Akpabio has denied reports that the operatives of the Department of State Services stormed the National Assembly over alleged impeachment moves by lawmakers in the upper legislative chamber. Akpabio informed lawmakers and senators that his attention has been drawn to the reports during plenary on Wednesday. He described the reports as fake. The Senate President lamented that fake news was gradually taking over the media. He later referred the matter to the Committee on Special Duties for investigation. The report of the investigation is to be presented to the Committee of the Whole within 24 hours. Nigeria's Senate also claims that reports making round of a new leadership in the Nigerian upper legislative chamber saying senators are in no way thinking of any changes in its leadership. Chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, Senator Yemi Adaramodu, while speaking to newsmen in Abuja, emphasized that the Senate is united and have concluded all her proceedings without any rancor. He further said that there are no basis for such assumption, pointing to the division in the Senate, noting that senators are solidly behind the leadership of Senator Godswill Akpabio. The chairman, Northern Senators Forum, Senator Abdul Aziz Yaradua, who spoke on behalf of the North Senators, said the Senate leadership have been doing what is expected of them and no such idea has ever been conceived or generated amongst any of the senators.
The Senate is solid at the Rock of Gibraltar behind the leadership of Senator Godswill Akpabio, and the Senate is seriously and vehemently immovable that we are not contemplating changing the leadership. It has never been conceived. The idea has never been generated anywhere. It is a farce, untrue, chameleon phrases, untraceable, ill will, and then it is a kind of thought from the Peace
Senators Forum. We are solidly behind the leadership of the Senate, headed by His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, GCON. So we don't have anything or heard of anything like this. So I think we are here to assure Nigerians that they should do away with such rumors, and I think we should most importantly concentrate on the issues that affect our nation.
While speaking on the economic situation in the country, Adaramodu said the National Assembly was meeting with relevant agencies regarding the economic downturn across the country and will soon come up with recommendations to the executive and solutions where necessary.
Just yesterday, the Committee on Finance summoned the FIRS and then the Tax Committee chairman to a session about taxation and tax reforms in Nigeria. And not only that, there is a joint committee of the House of Representatives and that of the Senate about petroleum matters, which they are still sitting. And then because the major issues that on the front burners now is the issue of petroleum products pricing and that of tax reforms. So, and once these two issues, they are now on the table of the Senate and the House of Representatives, definitely we will come out with our own position and resolution after meeting those that are responsible from the executive side to take actions on those issues.
Senate has confirmed 21 nominees as federal commissioners for the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. The confirmation was a sequel of the presentation and consideration of the report of the Joint Committee on National Planning and Economic Affairs and Finance for the confirmation of the nominations for appointment as federal commissioners in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Recall that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had appointed 21 federal commissioners to the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, pending their confirmation by the Senate. The former Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajorin Gelale, had in August 2024 revealed that this in a statement he signed, just as the Senator had in September 2024 referred the screening to the Joint Committee on National Planning and Economic Affairs and Finance. This confirmed by the Senate on Wednesday as federal commissioners are Linda Oti in Abia State, Akpan Effiong in Akwa Ibom, NFA Kene in Anambra, Professor Steve Uba of Benue, Chief Enyonsa of Cross River, Aruve Egarave in Delta, Nduku Agure in Ebonyi, amongst many others. In his remarks, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, who urged the new commissioners to give their best to the job ahead of them, however, asked them to be good ambassadors of their states and the country. House of Reps on Wednesday urged the federal government to urgently transmit the medium-term expenditure framework to the National Assembly to avail lawmakers ample time to work on the 2025 appropriation bill when it is submitted. This is as lawmakers drawn across party affiliations expressed displeasure at the practice of delayed presentation of annual budget proposals to the Parliament, leaving the lawmakers with little time to do their job. The resolution of the House followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance moved by the member representing Abak, Etimekbo, Ika Federal Constituency, Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Clement Jimbo. Jimbo was rallying support for the motion on the need to urge the executive to comply with Section 11, Subsection 1 of the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007. The lawmaker stated that Section 11 stipulates that the federal government must not later than 4 months before the commencement of the next fiscal year cause to be prepared and laid before the National Assembly on MTEF for the next 3 fiscal years. Analysts have posited that the problem of Nigeria is lack of good leadership. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program, Atlantic Blowout, Public Affairs analyst Emmanuel George said Nigerian citizens are patriotic, but the country cannot boast of good leadership.
Office, whatever position you are. Go across the world. We are not lacking brains. We have a lot of brains. We are lacking leadership. You can tell the people to be patriotic. Of course, we should be patriotic. You can say we should be singing Nigeria, we hail thee. But if a man is saying we hail thee, when he's hungry, when he has lost hope, when he's frustrated, when he has no job, when he's not sure of where his next meal will come from, when he's not sure whether his daughter will go to school and she'll come back alive if she will not be kidnapped, when he's not sure whether his wife would make it out of the delivery room because maybe the doctor is not available. Look at our mortality rate. We are not lacking men that are patriotic. Look at our soldiers. I have a friend who is a soldier. He served at the front lines. He fought at the front lines. He gave everything for this country. And most of his colleagues, they did not survive. They lost their lives. Many young Nigerians have sacrificed their lives, their blood, sweat, and tears for this nation, Nigeria. So we are not lacking men that are patriotic. What we are lacking is leaders.
The analysts further charge those occupying public offices to lead well, adding that good leadership attracts patriotism.
Office, whatever position you are, if you want love in a society, be that man that shows love. So you can preach patriotism from now till next year. They are not going to listen to you. Many people are not going to listen to you. Many people have lost hope and faith in this country. Many people don't even see themselves as Nigerians again. They've lost every attachment of Nigeria. The Nigerianness in them has dried up. So how do we restore the Nigerianness? How do we revive the patriotism? How do we revive the love for country, for our motherland? How do we revive this country with enormous potentials, yet crawling? After more than 60 years of independence, we are still not free because we are still trapped in mental slavery. So the political office holder is speaking because he's speaking for his office, but he's not speaking for Nigerians. He should walk on the streets. He should interact with Nigerians. He should ask them, why are you not patriotic? Why are you not loving your country? He should go to the filling station and see how people are struggling to buy fuel. And yet we are described as one of the largest producers of crude oil in the world. And then tell them, why are you not patriotic? You should go to our hospitals and see a lot of people that are dying because most of them don't have the right medication or drugs. They can't buy the drugs because it's expensive. And ask them, why are you not patriotic? If we want to talk about patriotism in this country, we need to do things rightly. We need to...
This comes as the federal government called on Nigerians to stop making negative comments against the country. In a different story, analysts have urged President Tinubu to fire ministers that are not meeting expectations. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Society Watch, socio-political commentator Honorable James Martins opined that President Tinubu should quickly change any minister who performs below expectation.
Underperforming people. I won't wait to do an elaborate or generalized reshuffle like it's a ceremony. No, if you're underperforming, I will excuse you from the office and replace you with somebody who is performing well. We don't need to go and have an official reshuffling. It's a bad pick to the initial process of selection of ministers, and they've already started criticizing the selection in the first place.
Honorable Martins, however, assured that the president should make use of performance indicator while reshuffling his cabinet.
Otherwise, who are the underperforming ministers? We just talked about a minister who is complaining that funds did not come to the ministry. What if she is replaced as Minister for Women Affairs? What if the shuffling removes that Minister for Women Affairs now and replaces? Is funds going to enter? And if the funds eventually enters, could this one not have done mighty things if the funds were available in the first place? That's the thing of priority. Who are the underperforming ministers? What are the performance indicators with which we're going to do this reshuffling? Because it's our office, it's a Nigerian office. These people are holding these resources in trust for us. So what are the performance indicators? Ministry for Sports, for example, what achievements have we had in the sport field? How are we recruiting the next generation? I stay close to Real Madrid Football Academy here, and sometimes I go around. I don't see any academic thing going on there. I don't see scouting and recruitment from the grassroots level.
This comes as the civil society organizations on Tuesday challenged President Bola Tinubu to tackle hardship in the country, saying Nigerians are not keen about the cabinet reshuffle, for which the federal government has expressed so much excitement. North Central All Progressives Congress Forum has suspended its agitation and demanded for the removal of Abdullahi Ganduje as the national chairman of the APC ahead of the rescheduled National Executive Committee. The forum has been opposed to the appointment of Ganduje from onset, arguing the position is for the North Central according to the party constitution of 2022 as amended. The forum has been engaged in several agitations for Ganduje's removal through protests, press conferences, consultation letters, including dragging him to a federal high court in Abuja for notification of his appointment as the national chairman of the party. In a statement on Wednesday, the chairman of the North Central APC Forum, Alhaji Saleh Zazaga, said they are not opposed to Ganduje as a person, but pursuing the rights, privileges, and democratic dividends for the region. The chairman explained that some peace and reconciliatory initiatives have been made, and they will oblige as their overall intention is progress of the party, the leadership, as well as that of the NEC. And now to business news, where the House of Representatives has called on the federal government to reverse the recent pump price hike and take immediate steps to stabilize petrol and cooking gas prices through targeted interventions, such as temporary price relief measures, tax reductions or subsidies on LPG for low-income households. Moved by the Deputy Minority Leader Aliyu Madaki and sponsored by 111 members of the House, the House called for the immediate reversal of the price increase in petrol and cooking gas. The lawmakers said that they feared that the hike was causing hardship for Nigerians and threatening job security. The Green Chamber also asked that the Nigerian National Petroleum Committee Limited and Minister of Petroleum Resources to increase local refining capacity, while also calling on the central bank to implement monetary policies that will mitigate the adverse effects of fuel price hike on inflation. This is as the World Bank has warned that a further increase in the prices of petrol may reverse the already dwindling effects of subsidy removal in Nigeria. The warning is contained in the October edition of this Africa's Pulse report. President Bola Tinubu is also, as of May 2023, officially pronounced an end to petrol subsidies in Nigeria, jerking PMS prices from 175 per litre to 1,000 across the country. A recent market price survey also puts the price of 1 kg cooking gas at 1,500. Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association has said that the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority will not hesitate to clamp down on sharp practice by operators in the oil and gas sector against Nigerians. The president of PetroOne, Billy Gillis-Harry, disclosed this to newsmen in an interview. Gillis-Harry spoke after a recent stakeholders meeting, noting that the NMDPRA has the mandate to regulate the oil and gas sector to prevent it from being hijacked by anti-competitive forces. According to him, the agency has pledged commitment to grow Nigeria's economy and encourage the ease of doing business for all the benefits of the Nigerians. His comments come amid the recent hike in the fuel prices between 1,030 naira to 1,200 naira per litre by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company and other players in the industry. In the past months, Nigerians have continued to witness fuel price hikes as the inflation rate rose to 32.70% in September 2024. Nigeria's crude oil exploration slowed year-on-year in September 2024 due to low investment in the upstream petroleum sector, according to the newly released report by Organization of Petroleum Exportation Countries. Data provided by direct sources, according to OPEC, said Crude oil production dropped marginally from 1,352 million barrels per day to 1,324 million barrels per day in October 2024. In the latest October 2024 monthly oil market report, OPEC also said Nigeria's number of rigs deployed for exploration dropped from 17 at the beginning of 2024 to 14 as of September 2024. A decrease in the number of rigs means low interest and investment in exploration, as reports previously pointed to various divestment pursuits of international oil companies from the country. According to OPEC, Algeria emerged as the highest nation in exploration with 43 rigs, while Equatorial Guinea came last with 0 rigs. According to the report, Nigeria's oil production has remained in the 1.1 million barrels per day range between 2022 and 2023, before rising to 1.3 and 1.2 billion barrels per day in the first and second quarter of 2024. Production then went from 1.2 million barrels per day in the second quarter to 1.3 in the third quarter and remained flat until September. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Yermi Cardoso, says the proposed bill, bank's capitalization policy, will support the country's $1 trillion economy ambition by year 2030. Cardoso disclosed this during an interactive session with the House Committee on Banking Regulations while reeling out plans towards achieving the feat. He stated that CBN has taken actions to ensure the safety, soundness and resilience of the bank industry, including the recapitalization of the banking sector by raising the minimum capital base to support the $1 trillion economy envisioned by the federal government of Nigeria by 2030. He noted that the contribution of agriculture to GDP increased in addition to the growth sector rising from a negative territory of 0.90% to 1.41%, indicating a substantial turnaround in productivity.
Palpable reality, the naira has depreciated to around 1,500 naira to the US dollar. For a country that relies on imports, this exchange rate crisis is not.
Regarding the foreign exchange market, the bank implemented various reforms, including a unification strategy, which streamlined various exchange rate windows into a single model, adopting the willing buyer, willing seller approach to enhance FX liquidity and financial market stability. This move was aimed at fostering transparency, reducing market distortions, and enhancing the efficiency of foreign exchange allocations. The consolidation involved the implementation of new operational guidelines, which included removing the IMTA quote cap. Additionally, the bank resumed the sale of FX at NAFEM and Bureau de Change. I want to assure you that in spite of the challenges confronting our economy, there are clear reasons for optimism. The gradual moderation in inflation, foreign exchange stability, ongoing banking sector recapitalization, and other positive trends in key sectors indicate a path towards macroeconomic growth and stability. We remain committed to staying vigilant and adaptable amidst ongoing global and domestic uncertainties. The bank will closely monitor economic developments and adjust policies as needed to achieve low
we'll go international news
inflation,
next. International
rate
entertainment. Now 6 minutes now.
Conducive for sustainable economic growth.
Earlier, Chairman of the committee, Honorable Mohammed El Rufai, had observed concerns of Nigerians over some economic policies introduced which has affected the country negatively.
Palpable reality, the naira has depreciated to around 1,500 naira to the US dollar. For a country that relies on imports, this exchange rate crisis is not just an inconvenience, it is devastating. Nigerians are yet to see any real improvement in their day-to-day lives. Again, I feel we are all responsible. Unemployment, which increased by 5.3% in the first quarter of 2024, continues to climb as businesses are forced to cut jobs, largely due to harsh monetary environment and an unstable exchange regime. The policies intended to curb inflation and stabilize the naira seem to be having the opposite effect on the wider economy. Additionally, Nigeria recently secured another loan worth $6.5 billion from the World Bank, thereby making Nigeria's debt profile to exceed 129 trillion naira. This is particularly troubling. We are borrowing more even as our currency weakens and inflation surges. This is clearly creating a vicious cycle of borrowing and inflation, which I believe and I know and I hope the CBN will arrest immediately.
João Lourenço of Angola has called for the peaceful resolution to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, stressing the need for an establishment of an independent Palestinian state. Lourenço made this appeal during his annual address on the nation-state at the Angolan parliament in Luanda. He added that the world would not continue to accept the alarming daily death tolls of civilians in Gaza, the West Bank and Lebanon. According to him, Angola supports efforts to find a lasting peace in the region, rooted in respect for the United Nations Charter, the principles of non-aggression, the inviolability of borders and the defense of state sovereignty. He emphasized the importance of ending the occupation of Palestinian territories and creating an independent and sovereign Palestinian state. He said the international committee must unite to stop these wars, protect innocent lives, and promote peace and unity in the Middle East, given the global repercussions of these conflicts. Iran's top diplomat has warned UN Chief Antonio Guterres that Tehran is ready for a decisive and regretful response if Israel attacks the country in retaliation for missile attack. The Islamic Republic fired about 200 missiles on Israel on October 1st in the revenge for killing of two of its closest allies, Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh and Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, as well as Iranian general. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant vowed last week that his country's retaliatory measure would be deadly, precise and surprising. Iran, while making all-out efforts to protect the peace and security of the region, is fully prepared for a decisive and regretful response to any adventures by Israel. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said during a phone call with Guterres, according to a statement from his office on Wednesday. During the call on Tuesday evening, Araghchi also appealed to the United Nations to use its resources to stop the crimes and aggressions of the Israeli regime and send humanitarian aid to Lebanon and Gaza. In entertainment, in sports, Confederation of the African Football have announced Morocco as host of the 2024 edition of the CAF Women's Champions League Finals. ATN reports that the competition, according to information on CAF's official website, will run from November 9th to November 23rd. Recall that Morocco had also hosted the last edition of the competition. Nigeria's champions Edo Queens are amongst the first 8 teams that will compete at the tournament, the premium women's football club competition in Africa. Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa are the current winners of the competition, and winners will get $40,000 in prize money, with runners-up walking away. $400,000 in prize money, with runners-up running away $250,000. Kelechi Iheanacho and Chidera Ejuke are expected to resume training at the La Liga club Sevilla on Thursday. Iheanacho and Ejuke were on international duty with Nigeria last week. The duo were part of the Super Eagles squad that were stranded at the Al Abrak airport in Libya on Monday. The players arrived Nigeria on Monday after boycotting the game. The two players joined Sevilla as free agents this summer. Argentinian captain Lionel Messi has equaled rival Cristiano Ronaldo's record after scoring a hat-trick against Bolivia in 2026 African World Cup qualifier. Messi scored 3 times and provided 2 assists to his country as they claimed a 6-0 win. It was the 37-year-old's 10th hat-trick, equaling Ronaldo's record. La Albacete are on course to qualify for from South America, as they are currently 3 points above second-place Colombia and 6 above arch-rivals Brazil. In the same night, Ronaldo failed to score for Portugal as they played out a no-draw to Scotland in UEFA Nations League. Ronaldo was clearly frustrated after the game and he was seen throwing tantrums. In entertainment news, Nollywood star Alesh Sani has cautioned Nigerians against relying on agencies for visa acquisition. He mentioned the risk of its potential financial ruin. Sani stressed the importance of using genuine documents and to avoid exorbitant expense for travel. He noted that agents cannot guarantee visa issuance, as it ultimately depends on embassy approval. Sani urged Nigerians to exercise wisdom and caution when seeking foreign travel. He highlighted the devastating consequences of spending millions and one's life savings only to be denied a visa. Citing the country's challenging economic climate, Sani pointed out that embassies are increasingly stringent on visa approvals, making it essential to avoid falling prey to scams. Nigerian music superstar Damile Ogulu, better known as Burna Boy, and rapper Odumodu Black missed out on their categories as Kendrick Lamar dominated the 2024 BET Hip Hop Awards. The award event aired on Tuesday from Dry's Beach nightclub in Las Vegas. In September, Burna Boy and Odumodu Black were nominated for the awards. However, Burna Boy lost the Best Live Performance Award to legendary US rapper Missy Elliott, while British songwriter Gets took home the awards in Odumodu Black's category. Kendrick Lamar, the US rapper, was the big winner of the night, securing 8 awards, including Hip Hop Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, Lyricist of the Year, and Impact Track. 50 Cent claimed the Hustler of the Year award, while The Alchemist won both Producer of the Year and DJ of the Year. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Police rearrest fleeing convict. Tanker explosion claims 105 lives. Akpabio denies DSS invasion of NAS Minister. Minister unveils new meter factory. Kenya Senate begins VP impeachment debate. Actor Sani warns against visa scams. England confirms Thomas Tuchel as manager. I am King David Obasi. Thank you so far for watching and staying with us. Continue with us on our social platforms, Atlantic TV Network on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network on Instagram, and Atlantic TV Network on Twitter. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.